silent. And after a long pause, he replies, let's see, the Arabs were very well advanced in the field of astronomy. So maybe some Arabs told your Prophet, and he mentioned this in his book. I do agree. I do agree that the Arabs were very well advanced in the field of astronomy. But I remind him that his dates are very poor. The Quran was revealed centuries before the Arab became advanced in the field of astronomy. So it is from the Quran which the Arabs learned about astronomy. It's not the vice versa. The Quran mentions about several scientific facts. The Quran says regarding the field of geography, regarding water cycle. It says in Surah Zumar, chapter number 39, verse number 21, that seest not thou that it is Allah who sends down rain from the top, from the sky, and leads it into the sources of the earth, and causes fields of various colors to grow. Quran speaks about the water cycle in great detail. It says in several other verses that the water from the ocean rises up, it forms into clouds, the clouds condense, there is lightning, and rain falls from the cloud. It's mentioned in several places in the Quran. It's mentioned in Surah Mu'minun, chapter number 23, verse number 18. It's mentioned in Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse number 24. It's mentioned in Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 43. It's mentioned in Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse number 48. In several places the Quran describes in detail this water cycle, which was discovered by Bernard Palissy in 1580. Only in the year 1580 was this present coherent water cycle discovered. Who could have mentioned the Quran 1400 years ago? In the field of geology, that atheists will tell you, that there is a phenomena known as folding. The earth that we live on, the earth's crust is very thin. These mountain ranges, due to the phenomenon of folding, prevent the earth from shaking. It gives stability to the earth. I tell him that the Quran mentions in Surah Nabah, chapter number 78, verse number 6 and 7, that we have made the earth as an expanse, وَالْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا, and the mountains as sticks. The Quran says that the mountains are made as sticks, as pegs. And this is the description which the scientists give us today. That's like the tent pegs. The mountains are like tent pegs. And Quran gives more information in Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter number 21, verse number 31. It says that we have set on the earth mountains standing firm, lest it would shake. Quran says that we have made the mountain to prevent the shaking of the earth. That atheists will tell us that even though the salt water and the sweet water, though they meet, they do not mix. They remain separate. I will point out to him a verse in the Quran from Surah Furqan, chapter number 25, verse number 53, which says, it is Allah who has created two bodies of free-flowing water, one sweet and palpable, and the other salt and bitter. And between them, He has made a barrier which is forbidden to be trespassed. A similar message is given in Surah Rahman, chapter number 55, verse number 19 and 20, that He has made two bodies of water. Between them is a barrier which is forbidden to be trespassed. Today science tells us that salt water and sweet water do not mix. There is a partition. He may tell me that maybe some Arab Maybe some Arab went underwater and he saw the partition and mentioned in the Quran. They fail to realize that this is an unseen barrier. The Quran says barzakh, an unseen barrier. And this phenomena is very much evident in Cape Town, that is the southernmost tip of Africa. Even in Egypt, when the Nile flows into the Mediterranean Sea. And the best example is the Gulf Stream, which runs for thousands of miles. Both the waters are present, but they do not mix. The Quran says in Surah Anbiya, chapter number 21, verse number 30, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ قُلَّ شَيْءٍ هَيْ. We have created every living thing from water. Will they not then believe? أَفَلَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Will you not then believe? Quran says we have created every living thing from water. Will you not then believe? Imagine, in the deserts of Arabia, where there is scarcity of water, who would have ever thought that every living creature is made of water? If they had to guess, they would have guessed everything but water. And today science tells us that cytoplasm, which is the main constituent of the cell, it contains 80% of water. And every living creature contains 50 to 90% water. Who could have mentioned this fact in the Quran 1400 years ago? And that atheist is mum. He does not give you a reply. There is a theory in mathematics known as the theory of probability. That suppose there are two options, and out of those two options, one is right and one is wrong. The chances that if you make a wild guess, you will get the right answer, it will be 1 out of 2. It will be 50%. For example, if I toss a coin, the chances that I will get the right answer is 1 out of 2. It is 50%. If I toss a coin the second time, the chances I'll be correct the second time is 1 out of 2, it is 50%. But the chances that I'll be correct in both the tosses, first and second, will be 1 out of 2 into 1 out of 2, that is 1/4, or 50% or 50%, that is 25%. If I throw a dice, the dice has got 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The chances if I make a wild guess, I will be right, is 1 out of 6. The chances I'll be correct all 3 times. The first toss, the second toss, and the third throw. The chances I'll be correct all 3 times is 1 out of 2 into 1 out of 2 into 1 out of 6. Will be 1 upon 24. Let's apply this theory of probability to the Quran. Suppose we agree for sake of argument. Possible a person guessed. All the matter that's mentioned in the Quran, maybe somebody has guessed. Let us put this theory of probability to the Quran. The Quran says that the world is spherical. What different shapes can a person think of the earth? Some may say it is flat, some may say it's triangular, some may say it's quadrangular, some may say it has 5 sides pentagonal, some may say hexagonal, some may say heptagonal, some may say octagonal, some may say spherical. Let's say, assume that you can think of about 30 different shapes for the earth. The chances that if anyone makes a wild guess, he will be right, is 1 upon 30. The light of the moon, it can be its own light or it can be reflected light. The chances that if anyone makes a wild guess, he will be right, is 1 upon 2. But the chances that both his guesses, the earth is spherical and the light of the moon is reflected, both are correct, is 1 upon 30 into 1 upon 2, that is 1 upon 60.